In Alias 2026, we worked hard to offer you a best-in-class experience for bringing your design ideas to life. With this release, I am happy to present completely new tools which will improve your workflow in concept modeling and technical surfacing. And we added new workflows for your visualization pipeline and implemented the brand new VRED render engine. This will lift your creative work to a completely new level. The first thing that jumps out at you is the difference of the render and material quality in Alias. The reason for this is that Alias now uses the VRED renderer and VRED materials natively. You will instantly see a change in the materials in the shader lister when switching to VRED renderer mode, as they now share the same material library. So you now see the same settings as the VRED material editor. For example, the car paint shows exactly the same attributes. You can apply them easily via drag and drop onto layers or single objects with the left mouse button, or replace entire materials with the middle mouse button. You can now use or save VRED materials directly from your shader library. This now gives you a consistent visual look and feel with VRED, which will remove a huge bottleneck in your pipeline, removing the need to rework materials or material assignments. When loading the model into VRED, it will appear exactly the same as it was in Alias. This saves you so much time and brings the two packages even closer together. With this new render engine, you now have access to new render settings, like changing tone mapping values or adjustments to the ambient occlusion. The new environment settings are very similar to the ones in VRED. And with this new engine, you will have better visual representation while modeling and more consistency between the viewports. This greatly simplifies the path to VRED for further advanced rendering. Speaking of bringing the two products closer together, I am also very excited to announce that we have now implemented live referencing between Alias and VRED. Combined with shared materials and rendering, live referencing now makes high-quality visualization accessible to designers and surface modelers, enabling faster iteration for design reviews, XR collaboration, or creating high-end visuals. It's a real game changer for both modelers and visualization experts. To get started, in Alias, open the wire file you want to share, then select Enable Live here in the prompt line action bar. You can choose to include cameras, lights, animations, invisible objects, invisible layers, and more. In VRED, all you need to do is create a live reference that points to the Alias wire file. Your data now appears in both applications with a shared live connection, and it's fast. Turn on Auto Update so you don't have to worry about getting the latest updates from Alias instead. They just appear in VRED. Think about how you can harness the power of this new tool in your workflow. Make surface changes in Alias and see them update in VRED in real time, while simultaneously building out the fine details of your visualization scene. Use it to power your XR sessions. Live reference is as useful for individuals working from a single system developing early design themes as it is for whole teams working together preparing surface data for an important review. You can put live referencing to work in a more traditional way as well and pull Alias changes into VRED when you are ready. It helps you better maintain your changes, saving you time and reducing the need for costly rework as your surface data evolves. But its role in collaborative work is where live referencing really shines. Alias modelers can periodically hand off data, and VRED visualization experts can choose to update a single file or many different files at once when they become ready. With these massive speed improvements, it no longer matters how many files need to be updated. The latest surfaces and parts are in their hands for visualization in seconds. No more time-consuming imports. And live reference is robust. Any changes you make in VRED are maintained as overrides. Whether it's material assignments or transformations, your surface data stays up to date through the workflow without changing the structure and content of your visualization scene, helping you work fast. Live referencing between Alias and VRED will truly change the way you work. We also have implemented multiple UX improvements to make your life easier. As you already know from VRED, we also implemented the Home button now in Alias, which gives you access to all sorts of information, like quick access to recent files, what's new, and essential skills. And within the Markup tool, besides sketching, you can now add normal text to your markups, which is very helpful for communicating your design intent or design changes. For the custom puck, You now have options to display text and icons only or text only. And the same applies to the outer ring as well. If you are working with the layer bar, you will see that the size of the layers is now proportional to the length of the layer name. And you can now create layers and folders directly in the layer bar or in the layer context menu. This gives you faster access and saves mouse travel and clicks. If you work with floating windows, you will be happy to hear that you can now maximize it here. And when working with multiple monitors, you may have a window appearing on another screen and you cannot find it. But with this function, you can gather all windows onto the same screen. This can be a lifesaver if you happen to switch to working on a single monitor at this particular time. You can also set up a hotkey for this. When you work with materials and textures, you can now make the texture transforms visible directly in the shader lister. So, you have quicker access and a quicker texture workflow. For improving our modeling capabilities, we have enhanced several tools and unlocked new features to make your lives easier. The new soft proportional modification tool allows you to vary the effect of transformations applied to selected CVs. Now you can transform a complete area in just one shot. You have multiple pick methods to choose from for your selections. Use box select, lasso, select by painting, and even selection sets is an option. First, select the CVs you want most affected by the transformation. These are known as the active CVs. Now, select the passive CVs. These are the neighboring CVs that will be partially affected by the transform based on the tool's falloff value. In addition to the pick methods, a grow option lets you quickly make this selection. Here you see the color mapping for the vertices, which indicates how much a CV is affected. With the falloff type, you can change the strength of how much a CV is affected by the transformation. As a tip, keep the control window open so that you can adjust the tool settings as you work. This new tool is very useful in subdivision modeling workflows for selecting and transforming bigger areas of your model. We have introduced also a new check model tool specifically for subds. This tool evaluates the subdivision control cage and highlights various topology characteristics, such as star points, triangles, faces by sides, overlapping CVs, and short edges. This can be a huge help when you need to hand over a clean model for the next steps or you receive a new model from another software. For NURBS modeling, we have also added several tools to help you in your surfacing workflow. For example, we have completely updated the trimming workflow. This includes editable trim stages and updates to the trim extend, which make trimming easier and faster. Let me show you. We've added the ability to edit trim operations at different stages. This means you can choose the trim operations you want to change without affecting any other trim regardless of the order they were applied. When Edit Trim Stages is turned on, you'll see locators for navigating between the trim stages. This way, you can choose which trim operation to update while leaving all other trims intact. Like here, where I want to use another curve on surface for this trim. So I turn my 3D trimming on, best with history as well, and create the new curve on surface. With Control and left click, I can delete the old one. And if needed, I can change the trim region area. And when going out of the tool, all previous trim stages will still be there. No more needing untrim all or last of your trim operations like in previous versions of Alias. What's also great is that it works with trim surfaces created in previous versions of Alias. This is now a completely new enhanced trim workflow within one tool and will greatly improve your speed and efficiency, especially when you have multiple trim operations on your surfaces. We've also made the trim tool smarter. Trim Extend now automatically switches to a linear calculation when extending a curve on surface if it detects that the trim will fail based on the curve extension. This should improve most cases where the curve on surface falls short of the edge boundary, preventing a closed area to trim properly. And if you have a trim failure because of an overlapping curve on surface, Alias now displays the area. Just turn on Show Overlaps in the Trim control window. The new Variable Surface Offset tool lets you not only offset a surface, but also gives you options at hand to make the offset more flexible. This new tool lets you create offset surfaces that are not uniform in dimensions. It lets you specify the offset distance based on the edges of the surface. And when you need to adjust the tessellation of objects for seamless visualization, you can now use the new global tessellation options in the control panel and adjust them to your needs. This avoids retessellation when switching between hardware shade, diagnostic shade, and cycling between variants. And finally, we now support the import of 3D XML or CATIA v6 data into Alias. Along with new file formats, we are continuing to improve our CATIA and NX data translation framework, bringing customers better quality and performance in their day-to-day work. Please try our new translators by enabling them in the options. Thanks for watching the video.